Okay, too many people want to travel. That's the title of the video that I just watched on YouTube, so you can go look it up. It's a cute 4-minute video by a YouTube channel named The Atlantic, and it's showing you how, because there's too many people now that are traveling, which is really only has been affordable and doable due to fossil fuels and having planes and having the plane tickets and the flights get cheaper and cheaper decade by decade. So this is, I mean, the act of tourism, flying from one part of the world to another, or going from one part of the world to another, that's a very modern thing. That's not, you know, it's a very modern thing in recent human history. Of course, you had people like Ibn Battuta and what's his name, that European guy, Apollo or something, you know, and was, I think he was this Christian priest or something, Marco Apollo or something like that. So you had these individuals who set on a voyage, like Ibn Battuta set from Morocco and went as far as India, and it took him 28 years to go the whole way and back to his native land, Morocco. So people who traveled often, it was sort of it took like half their lives just to travel the world, whereas now it takes you 2-3 days to go from one part of the world to another. So this is a modern thing, and it seems really groovy, doesn't it? I mean, right now traveling is it's the thing to do, right? With the onset of wonderful, beautiful, uplifting and inspiring social media outlets such as Instagram, we have these absolutely lovely and authentic and very caring for the planet individuals who love to share with the rest of the world all their adventures. So traveling is now the thing, and it's almost like if you don't travel, you're not culturally sophisticated. You know, like, you've got to travel, man. You've got to travel. You've really got to see the rest of the world. You know, it teaches you a lot, this and that. And I'm sure if you don't travel, I'm sure you've been around people who hyped the shit out of traveling, and you probably felt a little like shit because you haven't left your hometown, or you haven't left your country, etc., etc., right? So I think there is an emerging phenomena known as a non-traveling inferiority complex that is developing now as a result of, again, you know, social media and the over-glorification of travel. So now, of course, I'm talking as a traveler. I've been traveling to quite a few places in the last 7 months, and I am continuing this. I'm going to Doha, Qatar to see my family tomorrow, and then I'm off to Georgia. And I read a comment, and it summarized for me my experience and my perception of this, of the whole, this traveling bug, this very modern, very recent phenomena called traveling bug. And I'll read you the comment. I was convinced by Yuval Noah Harari's, I don't know who that is, but anyway, I was convinced by Yuval Noah Harari's argument that tourism is a modern form of consumerism. Companies used to sell us diamond rings and tell us we'll feel better about ourselves if we buy it. Now they sell us experiences. I could not formulate a better statement that, in my opinion, summarizes this, again, this modern phenomena of traveling. Of course, there is this initial novelty when you travel, like, wow, you come to a place and you're mesmerized and everything is different and you want to try all the different foods and you're so happy and you're so kind, but the novelty wears off. Much like if you get a new toy, any toy really, if you're an adult, maybe you're your preferred toy is a Lamborghini. I hope you guys can still hear me with all this beautiful rain. I'll just speak louder. So if you're an adult and your favorite toy is the car toy, then you get a Lamborghini and you're happy for like a month. You're such a joy to be around because you're so happy, but then that wears off. And traveling is no different. It really is no different. It's another thing we're being sold on. The experience of traveling, the experience of going to a new place. Now, not to mention the detrimental effects of travel, which I just found out about it, as far as the ecology, as far as the planet. Here, let me play this for you. Or you know what? Let's discuss the ecology later. At the end or the second half of this video, let's say we'll discuss the ecological part, and just the detrimental effects the fossil fuels and the plane have on the planet. So we'll talk about that in a second, let's say. Anyway, back to this comment. Let me read it again, just to get back on track here. So again, I was convinced by Yuval Noah's Harari's argument that tourism is a modern form of consumerism. Companies used to sell us diamond rings and tell us we'll feel better about ourselves if we buy it. Now they sell us experiences. So we as a global society are so discontent with our lives. We're so discontent with the present moment because we severed our relationship to the earth by isolating ourselves in these cities in which is really civilization, isolating ourselves as the human species from the rest of the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom, and building these giant skyscrapers and congesting ourselves to live in tight knit. It's not even tight knit, really. I mean, it's tight but not knit, perhaps. Just very much live in like areas where you have very little space. I mean, there's just so many people around you. There's so much going on. These cities are electrical cages. Cities are built deliberately by the elites, mind you, designed deliberately to be electrical cages. So when you're in the middle of a city, a proper city with a lot of people and a lot of buildings, you are inside an electrical cage deliberately designed to keep your frequency lower and to keep you disconnected from the earth. So what do you do in a city? You wear shoes, you wear clothes, you go buy your food from the grocery store. So you really don't have any connection with the food. You buy it. Here, I'll give you money, give me food. Really, like, where is your connection to the earth? Where is your connection to the earth? It's practically non-existent. You're taught to put on sunglasses and sunscreen and wear clothes to protect yourself from the sun. So because our connection with the rest of the creation around us is so severed, we're so unhappy with the moment. We're so discontent. And in our discontentment, we go out of ourselves and out of our environment, our direct environment, to explore, to chase experiences. So it's just another thing that we're chasing now. Another thing, thinking that it's going to somehow bring us happiness or make us more sophisticated. You know, people nowadays, I read a comment saying, half the people on Tinder now, they put love traveling, because apparently it increases your, I don't know, I guess it increases your sophistication, your self-image, I suppose. It seems like a thing now. And what do people do? They go, they try the different foods, they look at the different culture, but it's all the same. It's all the same. Everywhere people kill animal and eat them. It's a mass genocide going on against our brothers and sisters. Everywhere you go, there are traditions and rules that you must follow that really restrict your human expression. And it's the same everywhere you go, is the same. But in no, this is like, the whole traveling thing, the traveling bug, the whole thing is absolutely no different than the American dream. Go out there, make the money, buy your dream house, get the trophy wife or the trophy husband, and work until 65 and then retire, and then you'll be happy after. And somehow, so somehow people think that's what's gonna make me happy. I'm gonna go get a degree, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna settle down, I'm gonna find me somebody, the one, and I'm just gonna settle down in a, I'll be a law-abiding citizen, I'll pay my taxes, and I'll be happy. I'll be happy. Did that work? Is that working? Clearly not. Clearly not. And the whole traveling thing is just another trip. Another thing, another bone that the powers at be are throwing at the rest of us, saying, hey, go chase it, that's gonna make you happy. But of course, it's a mirage, it's a complete illusion. But if we were to connect, live in harmony with our environment, and really it does not matter where you are in the planet. You could be in the coldest place, the warmest place, in a desert, for all I care. And if you are living in full connection with the rest of creation, if you're observing the cycles, if you live by close to, if you're living somewhere peaceful, with not a lot of noises and not a lot of things happening, because what all that does is stresses you. Your nervous system is overloaded with information. I mean, you're in a city, you're picking up, you're picking up so many things. You're picking this up and that up, and holy shit, you're surrounded by like 500 people. You're picking up their energy, and you're surrounded by the noises, motorbikes and cars, and all nervous system overload. It's why like anxiety is such an epidemic, because you're anxious, you're stressed, your nervous system is like, oh, it's freaking out. Of course, you're eating all this shit food, basically poison. It's poison. It's further stressing your nervous system. And when you go from one place to one place, I'm telling you, it's the same story. Blood and starch. That's the official diet, the official nutritional guide for the entire world. Blood, that's meat, that's animals, and starches. So whether it be rice, whether it be bread, whether it be noodles, it's so that's everywhere, and that's poisoning you, killing you, slow suicide. It's shocking your nervous system. It's giving you all aches all around your body and your mind, of course. Anytime you have a headache, that's because you're there are toxins in there, so it causes inflammation. And in this dissatisfaction, we look at all this new hype around travel, and we say, well, I think that'll make me more sophisticated. I think I'll learn more about myself, man. I'll learn more about myself. Let me travel. And it's an easy trap to fall into. Why did I start traveling? Because I was discontent. I was in that exactly. Living in a city all my life, living in seclusion from nature, having all this overload, information, sensory overload everywhere. So I thought, let me start travel. I want to leave Canada. I want to go travel, and I want to go travel. Right? But then quickly I figured out, there's another, right. Do I want to go on that trip? Right. Oh, right. It's like the same thing. Halfway through my university degree, I was like, so that's what it's like, isn't it? I'm in a massive trap here. And I just realized halfway through, after second year, I was like, dude, shit. They got you. The Matrix got you. I was like, oh man. So what's my life's gonna be like now? 2 more years of this, and then I'm gonna graduate and work, and then I'm gonna You know, have a 9 to 5, buy a car, buy a house. It's like, no way, man, I can't do that. Because I saw through the whole thing. I saw through the whole illusion. And it's like same thing. Literally after 3-4 months of travel, I was like, oh shit, dude. Because you know, I came to Thailand and I went to Nepal and Myanmar. And after Myanmar, when I came back, or after Nepal actually, it was first Myanmar and Nepal, I was like, oh shit, they got you, didn't they? Are you gonna just keep traveling all your life? And then that's when I started thinking about the off-grid project. You know, just go and live in a sustainable manner, coexist peacefully and harmoniously with nature, and you will never have to leave again. You know what I mean? You will not have to leave where you are again. You know, you're living in such harmony and you're respecting your fellow, the rest of creation. You're connecting with the stars, with the moon, with the sun. You're living again harmoniously. You don't have all this noise around you. You're growing your own food, so you're actually you're contributing zero waste. I mean, we didn't even talk about the waste here. I said we'll talk about it in the second half, so just give me a second here to finish off the first rant. Yeah, it's another trap. It really is, and I can see a lot of you guys, you know, very discontent, and you really want to travel. And I did hype it up, didn't I, in my videos? Didn't I did hype it up. You know, I did make it because I am having fun. You know, to be honest, I am having fun. Like, I am enjoying myself. But then, you know, I wouldn't say I'm enjoying myself more than I was enjoying myself in Canada. Not by that much anyway. Because at the end of the day, it's about the 1 year in my life that I enjoyed more than any other year was between 2007 2018. I lived in a very obscure, remote area of the city of Hamilton called Dundas. I lived at the very end of it, and I had an entire conservation land around me, and it was very quiet area, very peaceful, very harmonious. Every time my friends came there, they didn't want to leave. They told me, man, what is this? You know? Because it was just like, it was the whole neighborhood too just was so harmonious. Everybody was there like a nature lover. You know, it was very quiet. That was the best year of my life. It wasn't actually this was a very good year. It's traveling. It's last 7 months. But it was that year that I enjoyed myself the most. I felt mostly at perfect connection with my environment. And I really think if we bring that connection back via various means, whether we start to live off grid, build our own homesteads, become part of an eco village or something, I really think we will claim back our connection to nature, claim back our connection to creation, and we'll never want to leave again. You know, if you were given the choice to be in perpetual state of orgasm, you wouldn't want to leave it, would you? If you were always in a state of orgasm, you probably want to hang out there most of the time anyway. You might want to come out of it just to create contrast before getting back into it. It's the same thing. If you're happy where you are, you're at harmony with your environment, you're in a peaceful environment, you're not getting sensory overload, why would you want to leave? Why would you want to leave, right? I mean, why would you? Why would you? You wouldn't want to leave. You might want to leave just to create the contrast and be like, man, I want to go back there. You know? I want to go back there because, you know, that's like a perpetual state of bliss. And yeah, that's in my perspective why you know, people are catching this travel bug. And so again, I know a lot of you guys still want to travel because you're discontent where you are. You have some job, you don't want to work, you're in school, and you know you want to escape it, and that'll help you to an extent. Going somewhere completely new will help you to an extent, but you will realize soon enough something's off here. You know, it's the same thing where you go. You're still going to Babylon. You're still going to places that are disharmonious and noisy and you know, just stressful. Really, stressful is what it is. So that's the first part of it. You know, the whole the trap of traveling. And the second part of it, here, let's go to the part of the video that talks about the emissions from flying, the emissions. So let's see, here we go.
Led to
let's hear it.
In response to over-tourism, many cities are starting to tax tourists more heavily and put daily limits on cruise ship visitors, and regulating Airbnbs so that locals aren't priced out of their own cities. But it's even more challenging to mitigate the effects of all this travel on climate change.
The biggest part of any trip is the flight. Just from one flight from New York to London and back, you're doing about a third of the damage that a car does.
Whoa.
Over the course of a whole year.
Whoa. Okay, so what he said, just a flight from New York to London, you're causing 1/3 the damage of what a car does in a whole year. So I traveled from Canada to Bangkok to other parts of Thailand, and then I took several flights in and out to Myanmar and Nepal and this and that, and now I'm going back to that, going back this way. So I already caused, like, just me traveling, I contributed to like what 3 or 5 cars would contribute to as far as green emissions, fossil fuel emissions in a whole year. Just one flight from New York to London, that's 1/3. So if you're going from New York and back to London and back, which is not that far, it's like 5 or 6 hour flight, it's not that far, you already contributed almost to what a car would contribute the whole year in terms of fossil fuel emissions. I just found out about that now. And I think intuitively, because I, especially in Pai, when I came here and I stayed in Pai, and I start to go out into very secluded areas where there's nobody, and I start to really connect with the earth, and that's when I had the idea of doing the off-grid project. Is because I'm like, man, like, I just don't want to contribute any waste to the planet. When you connect to the earth and you feel her pulse, you love her so much, and you're like, I just want to be I don't want to contribute any waste in any way. And I had the off-grid project. Why not go live somewhere where I'm living, existing peacefully with my environment, which is ultimately going to give me fulfillment as a human being, with a bunch of kindred souls, hence the community. And just why leave this place? Why leave it? Like, why am I even traveling? Why did I come all the way from there to here? What am I looking for here? I mean, in truth, what I'm looking for is connection with my environment. That's what I'm looking for. And I was like, God, I just and I just found out about these numbers, and how much you're contributing when you travel, how much emissions you're creating. And yeah, that's that only makes the whole off-grid project make more sense for me. It just makes more sense to go live in that way. Because again, if you're given the choice to live in a state of bliss, wouldn't you do it? Why would you go back into the state of suffering when you could just be in bliss? And if we're living in bliss, if we're living in a peaceful environment outside us, we feel peaceful inside of us, and then that's it. You're fulfilled. You're at peace, because you are peace. And if you're given the choice, I mean, if you're feeling that, then why would you leave? You'd just be like, why leave? You might want to leave every now and then to create the contrast and be like, oh, I love it there so much, let me go back there again. You see? So yeah, traveling is massively overrated. Massively overrated. Thank you to the Patreons for your support. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I feel like I'm running out of things to say here. I'm really, really grateful Some of you now have been supporting for a year, which is about the time I started Patreon, a little over a year. And you're still going strong, so I really appreciate it. If you want to talk about anything, message me on Instagram. We'll talk. And yeah, I'm really intent on carrying out the project, the off-grid project. And yeah, after visiting my family in Qatar, the intention is to go live in Georgia. Thanks to their very friendly laws, 1 year free visa. I would only have to leave, hop out to Turkey and come back in for as long as it takes me until I have enough money to go and start the project and just live there in South America. So I'm very intent on it. The more I contemplate the matter, the more I reflect on my observations and my experiences in the last 7 months, the more it becomes the only feasible option, the only option that really makes sense. Because again, everywhere you go, if you're in Babylon, it's the same, exact same. It's the exact same problem, the original problem. Disconnection from the rest of creation. And yeah, that's about it. And until next time, may the force be with you.